In this video, we'll be talking through how to identify good Parabola use cases and then get into some specifics for Amazon businesses. Getting started with the basics here, anytime that you're going into different tools or databases to download CSV files that you maybe then open in Excel and start to manually manipulate, very good chance that's a great opportunity for a Parabola use case, particularly if that manual process includes some custom logic. So think about if you were to create documentation for a process with a lot of bullet points along the lines of go into these tools to download these files, filter out this data, do a VLOOKUP, so on and so forth. We can take that logic and translate it into a Parabola flow that's going to eliminate the manual time that you need to spend on that task and get this process automatically running on its feet in the future. And even better, if that report or process needs to be done on a regular cadence, such as every day or every week or every month, those again are the types of processes that you can build once in Parabola and then set either on a schedule in the future. So, for instance, every Monday morning at 9 a.m., or we can have those triggered when something specific happens in a different tool or something like that. When we think about Amazon businesses supporting a portfolio of brands, we oftentimes see that these companies obviously want to provide a really high level of support across all of these different brands, but it's hard to necessarily give the same attention or generate the same consistent reports for all of these different portfolio companies. And so when we build something in Parabola, really easy to go ahead and duplicate that flow and just change what data we're working with. So we've seen types of sales reports and custom inventory trackers and things like that that are quite extensive and time intensive for teams to manage for one brand, let alone 10, 15, 20 plus brands. And so we've seen those teams build those types of flows in Parabola, duplicate a bunch of copies of those where each flow is reporting on a different brand. And this is going to make it really easy to provide the same level of support across all of these different brands and also sync up some of these improvements across all of these different flows. So let's say you figure out a better way to calculate what's the true sales volume for a given brand right now. You can then sync that new logic across all of those different flows to make sure that you're always following the best practices that your team is learning. When we think about the types of use cases that we're seeing across Amazon businesses, a lot of times we're seeing things like tracking in transit inventory, generating sales and cohort reports like the repurchase rate flow that we were looking at earlier, as well as managing exceptions and creating custom alerts and things like that. A lot of times, as great as automation is, it maybe can do 90% of the job, and then there's 10% left that maybe requires some human intervention. And we really thrive by taking out that 90% and helping you focus on the 10% that truly does require manual intervention and isn't the same type of manual repetitive work over and over again. To get started looking for Parabola use cases, I'd encourage you to think about where is your time being spent in spreadsheets and think about if we were to take out that time that you need to spend on all these processes, what else could you start maybe doing in the future that you don't have the bandwidth to take on right now? If you want a concrete place to look, you could look at your downloads, see what CSV files you've uploaded recently. Chances are we can directly integrate with that tool and pull that data automatically into Parabola, and we're certainly happy to help out with some working sessions and things like that to help you get started. Hope this was a helpful series, and definitely let us know if you have any questions.